Narok Senator Ledama has raised alarm over what he describes as the growing misuse of Article 223 of the Constitution, warning that increased reliance on emergency spending is exposing Kenya to serious fiscal risks. The senator is now calling for urgent reforms, including changes that would require both houses of the parliament to approve such spending before any funds are withdrawn. The concern centers on Article 223 of the Constitution, and this provision allows the government or the national government to withdraw funds from the consolidated fund in cases of urgent and unforeseen need. The intention behind this article is clear. It is meant to provide flexibility in moments of genuine emergency situations where waiting for the full budget process could delay a critical action. However, Senator Ledama now argues that this provision is increasingly being used beyond its intended purpose. In a public statement issued on March 31, 2026, the Senate expressed the concern that the government is relying too heavily on this mechanism to approve expenditures outside the national budget. According to him, such a trend undermines transparency and weakens accountability in public finance management. The senator's remarks come at a time when Kenya is already facing heightened scrutiny over its fiscal position. Public debate has intensified around issues such as rising debt levels, budget deficits, and also sustainability of government spending. In this context, any concerns about how funds are authorized and used carry significant weight. Olekina pointed out that Article 223 was never designed to become a routine tool for financing government activities. Instead, it was meant to address truly unexpected situations, and he warned that using it for predictable or long-term expenditures could distort the budgeting process and also reduce the role of Parliament in overseeing public finances. At the center of this criticism is a specific example: the reported allocation of 3.9 billion shillings for the hosting of the Africa Cup of Nations. The tournament is a major continental event that requires long-term planning, coordination, and resource allocation. According to the senator, such an expenditure cannot reasonably be classified as urgent or unforeseen. He argued that it shouldn't have been included in the national budget through the standard planning process. By processing it under Article 223, he said, the government risks bypassing established procedures that are meant to ensure transparency and proper oversight. This example, he noted, highlights a broader pattern, a pattern in which emergency provisions are used to authorize spending that could and should be planned in advance. The implications of this trend are far-reaching, and at the institutional level, it raises concerns about the balance of power between the executive and parliament. The Constitution assigns Parliament the responsibility of approving government spending when funds are withdrawn without prior approval, and even if later ratified, that role is effectively weakened. According to his message, he said that it's not good to keep quiet when the road to Singapore, Kenya is full of potholes. I'm seeing lots of unnecessary spending outside the budget, abusing Article 223, posing serious fiscal risks. Parliament must amend Article 223 for bicameral approval upfront, not post-ratification. You can't tell me Afcon hosting fees, 3.9 billion, were never planned, non-commitment, yet rushed via 223. That is Senator Ledama Olekina's message. Olekina believes that this undermines one of the key principles of democratic governance, the oversight of public resources by elected representatives. To address this, the Senate is proposing a significant change, and he wants Article 223 to be amended so that any emergency spending must first receive approval from both the National Assembly and Senate. This would mark a shift from the current system when approval is sought after the funds have already been withdrawn. According to Olekina, requiring upfront approval would restore fiscal discipline It would also strengthen institutional oversight and ensure that the executive cannot bypass the budget-making process. Such a reform, he argues, could help rebuild public confidence in how government finances are managed, and the issue also touches on broader economic goals. Kenya has often expressed ambition to transform its economy and improve its global competitiveness. Comparisons have sometimes been drawn with countries like Singapore, which are known for strong financial discipline and efficient governance system. However, Olekina questions that achieving such goals requires strict adherence to sound financial practices. He warned that unchecked spending outside the budget could create long-term risks for the economy. These include increased debt burdens, reduced fiscal stability, and limited capacity to respond to the future challenges. Beyond the technical aspects, the issue has real implications for citizens. Public funds are used to finance essential services such as healthcare, education, infrastructure, and social programs. When there are concerns about how these funds are managed, it affects the public trust in government institutions. It also raises questions about whether resources are being used in the most effective and accountable way. In recent years, Kenya has made efforts to strengthen its public finance management systems, and these efforts include reforms aimed at improving transparency, enhancing oversight, and also ensuring better planning of the government expenditure. However, the concerns raised by Olekina suggest that challenges remain, and they highlight the need for continued vigilance and commitment to the principles of accountability and good governance. The senator's remarks are likely to spark further debate within Parliament and beyond. Lawmakers may now be required to examine whether existing safeguards are sufficient or whether additional measures are needed to prevent misuse of emergency provisions. At the same time, the executive may need to respond to these concerns by providing clarity on how Article 223 is being applied, and such a response could be important in addressing public concerns and maintaining confidence in the country's financial management systems. As the discussion unfolds, the focus will remain on ensuring that public funds are managed responsibly. This includes not only how money is spent but also how decisions about spending are made. For many observers, the issue is not just about one constitutional provision, it is about the broader principles that guide public finance, transparency, accountability, and rule of law. And these principles are essential for building a stable and a sustainable economy. They are also critical for maintaining trust between the government and the people it deserves. In the coming weeks, the debate over Article 223 may become a key issue in Kenya's political and economic discourse, and it will likely involve discussions among lawmakers, economists, and also the stakeholders. The outcome of these discussions could shape how the country manages its finances in the years ahead, and for now, the warning from Ledama has brought the issue into sharp focus. It serves as a reminder of the importance of strong institutions and clear rules in managing public resources. In the management of public funds, accountability is not optional, and how a nation spends today often defines the strength of its tomorrow. That is all for today from Kenya Lens Media, and kindly, if you are new here, consider subscribing as a way of motivating us and also helping this platform grow. This is where you get news updates as they break.